Welcome to today's Virtual Market Open, where we celebrate the latest issuer to join the Canadian Securities Exchange. Join us as we count down to the market open and stay to learn more about the latest listing on the exchange for entrepreneurs. Together, we'll count down to the market open, and this will be followed by an interview with a company executive.
Let's go!
Hey, winner, winner!
Let's go! All right.
There we go.
Let's go!
Congratulations on being newly listed on the CSE.
We're talking today to Mr. Steven Budin. He is the CEO of King's Entertainment Group, Inc. The company has just begun trading on the CSE. Steven, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you're well.
I am well. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Of course. So welcome to the Canadian Securities Exchange. I'm sure our audience members, just like myself, are curious about King's Entertainment Group. You're in the online gambling space. Talk to us a little bit about your company. What is the vision and what do you do?
So we're newly on the CSE, but we're not a new company at all. We've been around for since 2005, and everyone in positions of command at our company are all seasoned veterans in the gambling business. At the core, we're a lottery company. King's Entertainment controls two major brands right now, Lotto Kings and Win Trillions, with a focus on Latin America and Europe. And, it's important as a company to know who you are, and we are a lottery company. But we also offer other verticals as well, seemingly casino and sportsbook. So we bring customers in on a lottery level and give them an opportunity to play all the most popular lotteries in the world, Powerball, Mega Millions, Euro Millions, and then we move them over into our casino and our sportsbook to offer that robust gambling opportunity so that they'll stay there, play there, and never leave.
Perfect, Steven. Now, you mentioned that the company has been in operation for quite a long time now. So what was your strategy behind going public and listing on the Canadian Securities Exchange?
Well, I've only been involved with the company for 2 years. They kind of brought me in as the CEO to make everything kind of work right. And they had a great product, great potential. They just needed to fly in the right direction. So I took control of the company a couple of years ago and really put the right staffing together, the right vision together. And the next step was, obviously to go public, to bring our product to the public platform, to be able to, get the right type of investment, to take advantage of all the knowledge that we had and be able to expand on all the research and development that have been done on what works and what doesn't work. A lot of time with startup companies, they're guessing. They have great intentions, but they've never really done it before. In our case, we're able to take this investment and apply it to different measures in marketing that we know work. How do we know it works? Because we didn't have the ability to have a $10, $15 million, purse sitting in the bank at all times. So we always had to do very smart marketing that made money in real time. Being able to accomplish this, over the couple of years that I've been there, really positioned us to take a budget, to take investment and apply it towards the things that work. I think that's an advantage we have over a lot of startup companies entering into this exciting space in the gambling business.
Steven, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your background and how you got into working with King's Entertainment?
All right, so I've been in the gambling business for over 25 years. I started at Caesar's Palace in my teens, into my 20s. When I went to Costa Rica in my early 20s, I opened up the first ever online sports book and casino. So in a lot of ways, I created that industry. Exiting in 1998, I went into the sports advisory business, did the same thing, kind of revolutionized that business as well. So to say that I'm fully immersed in gambling and gambling operations probably would be an understatement. Very close with a lot of the major shareholders, at King's Entertainment. They asked me to come in at a time when I was really looking for the next project in my life, the next challenge. I saw the potential that King's had in all the verticals that they offered. And I thought I could really be a help there. I thought I could really, pilot the ship in the right way. And it's been kind of smooth sailing. I mean, now that we're public, there are new challenges, and I think we're ready to meet those challenges.
Well said. Now, we had a chance to meet some of your team members as well when we did the virtual open. Talk to our audience a little bit about some of your core team members and the strengths they bring to the table.
So my COO, Damon Goodwin, I mean, he reminds me of myself in the sports betting business, only on the lottery side. 25, 30 years of expertise in the brick and mortar lottery business. He's sold lottery every single way possible. He's evolved with the product as it's evolved from brick and mortars, bodegas, to now online. So he kind of reminds me of myself in the sports betting side, where he's seen it all, done it all, and his expertise is invaluable. Love having a guy like that on my team. He's like me. We never look at a clock. We work 16, 17 hours a day if necessary. But more importantly, like me, he's passionate about the product that we sell. Even when we're sleeping, we're thinking about things on how to improve our company, waking up sometimes at 3 a.m. with that notepad next to the bed. And he knows he can call me anytime. And God knows I call him at all hours of the day and night. He's in London. I don't even do the time change. I just call, and he's always there. Both of us with the same goal in mind, how to improve our company on a daily basis. James Dominique, who's my CMO, handles my marketing. We grabbed him. We were lucky. We grabbed him from a much bigger company at the time. He was undervalued and underappreciated there. And I brought him in, saw his potential, moved him right to the top. He's a wonderful marketer, understands that it's not my style to stand at the top of a building and just throw money out and hope that some of it sticks. I like to do data-tested marketing, only press the bets that work. That's always worked for me my whole life. I'm not a guerrilla marketer, never have been. I believe in the principles of the private market, and I think bringing that to the public market is important, because at the end of the day, you can spit out all the hype you want. The bottom line is always going to be the bottom line. Yeah. And speaking of the bottom line, we've got Kelvin Lee, who handles, he's the CFO, straight shooter, amazing guy, very trustworthy, very honest, very good at what he does. I've only known him for a year. I really like what I see in him. He's also dedicated to the job. He's been in the public space for many, many years, brings that experience. I think together we kind of make a dream team here. And it is a team effort. As much as I'm at the front, and the mouthpiece of the company, I really rely heavily on my team, and every chance I get to let everybody know that I do, because it's important that they know that it's not one man behind this effort. It's many, many people, all very talented and very experienced in the gambling business.
Steven, you mentioned the dream team. Obviously, having a strong team, like-minded team is a big portion on what differentiates companies from each other. But especially in this online gambling, lottery space, there's just so much going on, especially since the pandemic. There's been a lot more activity. So what would you say differentiates, or are some of the other factors that differentiate a team and background with a company like yours from some of your peers that might be in the space?
Well, I think the most important thing that we bring to the table that a lot of others don't is innovation. What you see in a lot of other companies is much of the same. They have the same sports book, the same casino games, the same lottery offering. So there isn't much that differentiates one from the other. And differentiating factors is always a big deal. It's what created the theming in Las Vegas that we've seen over the last 3 decades, and how Las Vegas is always evolving in their themes, even though when you walk into the hotel, it's just a crap table and a slot machine, just like it's always been. But they do the best that they can to distinguish each each hotel from one another, it gives customers a reason to come to one and not the other. With us, it's innovation. Like I said, it's creating games that have never been released to the public before in those traditional categories. So in lottery, we've come up with something called boosted jackpots, where we go ahead and we offer a popular jackpot like Powerball or Mega Millions or Euro Millions. And we take it at 20 million and we boost it for free to 100 million, adding to that level of excitement. So even though it's 20 million everywhere else, when you play it with us, it's 100 million. That's one example of an innovative thing we brought to the lottery space. Another example is something we have coming out pretty soon called the magic number, which will allow you to bet one number in lottery as opposed to having to get all 6 or 7 numbers correct. You want to bet just the number 7 in Powerball. If that number comes out, you hit pay dirt. And I think it's important to create winning scenarios. I talked about it earlier when we were recording the bell ringing, how we want to bring winning. Winning is an important marketing factor, in the gambling business. It's what keeps the gerbil on the wheel. And for us, providing that winning is important. Lottery companies haven't figured out how to do that, as lotteries carry a very high odds in order to win. So we've created games within the game to up that percentage and that chance of winning so that everybody gets a taste. And I think that's important when you're trying to build that sticky connectivity with customers and keeping them coming back.
Yeah. And just like any industry, Steven, that has hurdles to overcome, are there any pain points that you and your team are trying to overcome in this space?
Well, I think for me, to be quite honest, someone who's been in the private sector gaming industry for 30 years, it's painful to pay all those expenses associated with, with those corporate expenses for going public, accountants, lawyers, insurance, all these things that we never had to deal with before. And you watch sometimes $1 million go out, go out to all these necessary costs. And to me, it's a little bit of a learning curve with that. Not learning how to do it. It's easy, but learning how to live with it, but at the end of the day, that puts a lot more pressure on building a business, and on increasing our revenues so that we can just not only afford those costs, but move beyond those costs to expand our business. The good news is I think we're ready and we're up for the challenge. As I've said many times, I've got the right team in place. We know what we're doing, and we're ready to do it.
Now, I know you've just begun trading, but are there any milestones that you're able to talk about that our audience can look out for in the coming months of this year?
Well, sure, absolutely. One of the biggest things that we're looking to do is continue that rate of conversion from lottery over to casino. In 2021, we saw an increase by 40% in our customers, active customers in the casino, about the same 40% in our increase in revenue in the casinos. And what that means, because we don't do direct casino marketing, we are a lottery company, is that we're getting those lottery players to come in, play lottery, and successfully move over to the casino and also to the sports book to some degree. And sports book, not as much of a growth factor, more of a robust offering. Again, so that with a sports book, if we have a casino player or a lottery player that wants to make a sports bet, we have that available to him so that he doesn't have to go anywhere else. So when I look to the future, I look for bringing in more lottery players and improving that conversion rate. Right now, when I started working for the company, they were converting about 12% of lottery players over to casino. We now have it at 20%. I'm looking to move that number even higher, 30, 40% as we go further into the future. And that comes from attractive offers, great casino content, and the idea and the understanding of the synergy between lottery players and slot players and giving them the type of contests and incentives and games that they like to play. That just comes from being in the business for 25 years.
Steven, where can our audience members go to keep up with not only your recent news, milestones, but also read up on your team and what you guys have in store?
Well, we have an investor's website, www.kingsentertainment.games. And on that site, you can see everything we're doing from an investment standpoint, from a capital market standpoint. There's also a customer view of our websites and what those look like as well. Obviously, you can always go to lottokings.com or wintrillions.com to take a look from a customer's perspective. And you'll see there some of the most innovative lottery and casino sites known today. But yeah, kingsentertainment.games is if you're an investor or someone interested in investing, that's a great place to start.
Perfect. Well, Steven, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to not only educate myself a little bit about the potential of this space, but also our audience members on what's in store for this enormous industry, along with, a little bit about your team and what you're trying to solve. Now, to our audience members, you've been listening to Mr. Steven Budin. He is the CEO of Kings Entertainment Group. It's listed on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Steven, I look forward to our next conversation that we can have, but I do want to wish you and your team nothing but success as you move forward in the capital markets.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.